Oh, we're running.
We're in? Live? We're live?
I remember liking that song, I think.
I remember it being a song.
Oh, no, Where's the Love? I remember liking that song. Oh,
that was us.
Wait, that was
us. That was
good
me.
point. No, that's a good point.
That was me.
Let's make all the silencing. Where is the Love? That's the song I remember.
Good morning.
Yes.
How's everyone doing? Is everyone good? Good morning? Good morning, I said.
Good morning.
No one's saying anything
Good
back.
morning.
Oh, wait, I should check the chat.
Yeah, get in on that chat, boys and girls. Do you have the Reddit ready?
No.
I always forget to... I count on you to bring it up. I'm sorry.
I wonder why.
Reddit hates me.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It just kicked you out. All right. Here we go.
And they do some weird... We've seen Reddit 50/50. People do some weird stuff in there.
Yes, and on Twitter, too. You ever seen what the president tweets?
But only one of those websites kicked me out.
I can get Twitter to kick you out if you want. Do you want me to? I just start flagging your account constantly. Then I get banned. The system's broken, kids. All right, let's kick it off. We have so much to talk about.
You want to do the main episode? Jump right in?
Yeah.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
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 You didn't have any music ready or anything?
No, I was looking.
It's a busy day.
And then I got distracted.
You got to play with lightsabers today.
You got to play with lightsabers.
How did you get to play the lightsabers today?
We were playing with lightsabers.
It's May the 4th, guys. Kids play.
May the 4th. Me be wit. Fuck, I fucked that up at the end, huh?
So, before we jump in, I'm DJ Wooldridge at DJ Talks Trash.
Now I'm looking for music.
This is not too late. This is Sam Bashor
no,
at Sam Bashor.
No, okay. Don't look. Don't look. I have to make sure this is muted. Don't look. Don't look. Here it goes. Here it goes. Oh, shit.
Edit this. Hold on.
Wait, was that what you were thinking? Yeah. You brought it up. I had to go.
I was thinking Sanford and Sons maybe, but you know,
you don't like that theme.
You know what? I liked it in that movie.
Yeah. You just don't like it when I sing it. Interesting.
No, I don't like it when you scream it in the mic, and I know I'm gonna have to deal with those peaks later.
That's what singing is. That's what, man, I get why I didn't get solos a lot in choir.
So, before we dive into superhero news and everything, we only have, how many more tickets left for our live show?
4. I think 3 now. It's going down really quick. You guys, this has been a very exciting thing to put together. We have a bunch of fun guests who are joining us. If you're listening, I'll read them off for you really quick. We have Steve Zaragoza. And Mike Balzone from Dynamic Banter, but also Maud Garrett will be joining myself, Sam, talking over here, because we're going to be doing a mini Smodcast episode, and then to round out the show, we're going to be doing a big mega episode of Only Stupid Answers, like the main podcast live, with all of our guests.
The big one.
It's going to be a big one. It's going to be audience participation and whatnot.
Yes.
Also exclusive merch there, and special guests that we can't announce yet, but maybe on exclusive merch that we're selling at the event. Just saying. It's going to be really cool.
So not only that, you go to onlystupidanswers.com, you can click on the banner there, that'll take you to the tickets, and you can grab one of the last few tickets. Also, you can go to chaostheorycomic.com and check out my new comic, The Chaos Theory Volume 2. It's the 5-issue sequel to my last comic, and specifically to Patreon people, because I love you guys so much, because you guys support us so much, because you guys are the best. If you go in and you contribute to a tier $25 or up, because those are the physical tiers, you will get an exclusive print of Sam, Roxy, and I from SuperTV Showdown that we will sign.
If you haven't looked, I think you posted a preview of it on Patreon, and it looks pretty dope. Oh, here's a little preview if you're watching the video. There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There was a spelling error in the thing I posted on Patreon. You're welcome, everybody. But I fixed it for this, I think.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not good with.
Well, now everybody's going to go back and look. But what you should go back and do is go to chaostheorycomic.com or Kickstarter, type in Chaos Theory, and contribute. And again, $25 and up. You can, if you're watching live, it's a print of Sam as Flash, me as Green Arrow, and Roxy as Supergirl, and we will sign that, and I will put that into your little package that you'll get.
It looks very cool, kids. You're gonna not want to miss out. And we'll see you guys Tuesday, May 8th at 8 p.m. at Open Space Cafe if you're in the LA area. We love you guys. Let's get going and let's start talking about some news before we get into our TV shows. Which would you like to talk about first?
Wait.
You got something?
I'm going to write it down.
There you go. Here you go. You want a little clap?
No. I just want to write it down.
Can I clap?
You can clap, but I don't need it.
Oh, you were waiting for me to stop clapping.
Yeah, I was just taking notes. So the big, I think, there's actually, I feel like these are probably equally big things.
Depending on the success of the other thing. At least one of them is going to be really big. We can talk about the first one that's definitely going to make a lot of money, and that's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because they dropped a new trailer. It was very good.
Yes. Can I just say, very good trailer. I would recommend if you have not seen it, wait for the movie.
Too late. We're gonna play it.
Damn it! No, because I feel like there was stuff in it that I really enjoyed, but I wish I could have seen in the movie first.
Hey, you know what? That's fair.
But we haven't seen Michelle Pfeiffer's Wasp yet. Anything with that?
I
know what you're might be referencing. Because you had to do a breakdown. Spoilers. Come on.
I didn't say anything. I said you. No, it's been it's a very solid trailer, and I think my favorite part about this is like the slapsticky humor with growing and shrinking things. Like you can have a lot of fun, and you already got a little bit of that in the first trailer with the Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
And with this one, you get even more. But I think you make a good point. Just save it.
Yeah.
Just save it.
Yeah, because it's like less than a month at this point.
Making like other heroes like Doctor Strange, like comedy based, you're like, I don't know if that totally works, but with Ant-Man it's like, why not?
Especially when you have Paul Rudd, because he's so great. And also, I don't know about you, I think having such low expectations for Ant-Man as a character really benefits me in this movie. You know what I mean? Because I don't have any I don't think I've read a single Scott Lang comic ever.
He's currently in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's one of the best choices I've ever seen for Ant-Man in a comic, because he's like, it was like after the whole Cap being a Hydra whatever, and he's like, I didn't like what I did here, so I got to get out of here. He wasn't a Nazi in that, but he was just like he was like a spy or something because he was threatened, but he's like, I need to get off Earth for just like a little bit. It's such a great dynamic.
Cool.
So if you made a Guardians 3 and you wanted an Avenger to go with you, Ant-Man wouldn't be the worst choice.
Would not be the worst choice. I really like the first Ant-Man, especially in a rewatch. So I'm very excited for this movie. I like how badass Wasp looks. Like, they're not making any bones about the fact that she's way more proficient than he is.
Yeah, he's way intense was the word they used in the trailer. It's like, she's the fighter, and also you want a fighter. Scott's not a fighter.
No, it looks like he gets Giant Man. She gets proficiency. She
gets to be the actual Avenger.
Yeah,
he's just big. Yeah, he's a big
big boy. And Ghost looks cool.
Yes, and I don't understand what's going on with her whole thing, but I don't care because the effects are really cool.
It looks like it might be. I misunderstood what they said, but it sounded like her powers are connected to the microverse somehow.
If you just watch the trailer and you see how her effects look, and then you see what the microverse looks like, you have a point. Yeah, you have a point. I don't know what that means. Yeah, because you can't just say like, oh, they went into space, so they got vacuum powers. It's like, I don't know what it means. It's like, so we'll see what it means.
Also, we get a little tease of Lawrence Fishburne as I can't remember his
Bill
Foster, who becomes Goliath, and he mentions that, and it's weird. It's like, I don't really have him. Do we need another?
He's a good character,
even though that actor in anything always I'm a fan of. Lawrence Fishburne is you've never watched Hannibal. He's amazing in that.
I did want to point out, actually, in the trailer, if you watch in the other trailers, whenever Ghost shows up, like, there's a specific scene where she walks through a door, but she phases through it, but you see like glitches of her doing it, and you can see glitches of her opening the door, or like pushing, like, or breaking through the glass, or like other things, but instead she just phases through. So maybe it's like the quantum superposition of like, maybe this is all the different options of her getting through the door, and her body just lets her go through. I don't know how to explain that to audiences that makes sense. Yeah. Because I didn't even get, like, I was watching, I was like, that's cool, but what does that mean? Like, what does that exactly mean? It looked like, did you watch Next with Nick Cage? We could see the future?
No, I did not.
There's a point where someone's shooting at him at close range, and you see his possible future selves getting hit by the stray bullets, but in the main timeline, he's dodging all of them. Because he's playing the things in the future.
But here's the thing, though, what makes that timeline the main one?
Because it's happening split second. I don't know.
And also, I think I mentioned this before. I think Ghost was originally an Iron Man villain. All for, because does Ant-Man have like a
Darren Cross.
Yeah,
and also Hank Pym is his own worst enemy.
Yeah, so just like Batman has a wealth of enemies that you can he doesn't need all of them. You know, you can offshoot some of them to be villains for Green Arrow or the Titans or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's give some of the... Not that Iron Man has the biggest rogues gallery,
but he weirdly does. Like, he does have a lot that get used for other things.
Did you ever watch the animated series? I think it might have been before your time. There's
Iron Man?
There's a 90s animated series.
There's a 1960s animated series, too.
Yes, and I'm not going back that far.
Okay, I was like, yeah, it's before both... How?
No, and it was when he was doing... that was... West Coast Avengers became, like... a Avengers Force or something like something X. It was the 90s, so like whatever X. And so War Machine was in there, but there was a team of bad guys, including Great Gargoyle, Cyclone, like a bunch of weird characters that I would like to see some sort of version, like perfect for Ant-Man. How does Ant-Man explain Great Gargoyle? You know what I mean? Like, I'm down.
It would be
something.
It's something.
There'd be something.
Could you imagine that there would be an Ant-Man trilogy?
No.
Nope.
Never.
Mm-hmm. Even Thor makes more sense because it's like a Greek Norse
so he was one of the main ones.
Yeah.
He was one of the main dudes. That makes sense. Ant-Man? What was one... there was another one that I was thinking about. I was like, I can't believe that's just the fact that they're talking about an Eternals movie.
That was a stretch. Even for, like, all the characters you have. Like, if they said a Sentry movie first, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Well, also... And to be I was going to reference, like, well, they made Guardians of the Galaxy works, but Guardians of the Galaxy had that run of comics that was not huge, but it was a popular take. Like, Eternals have been dormant for decades.
Yeah. Like, you'll get one character popping up.
From the Eternals, but, like, they haven't had
like Star
series
Fox
or anything.
And, man, you could trick a lot of 90s video game kids to go into a movie where it's like, Star Fox is
in
it. And it's like, they have similar hair.
They do.
But one definitely looks like a man and not like a dog. But anyways, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it looks like a nice palate cleanser between Infinity War and Captain Marvel coming out.
I read a headline and I didn't bother to read the article because I didn't like the headline. Like, how are we supposed to care about Ant-Man and the Wasp after Infinity War? Like, stop it. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's meant to be the guy when, like, what was it? You remember that story? It's always an anecdote from Steven Spielberg, but when they were shooting Jurassic Park, there was a hurricane that went through... like a tropical storm that went through Hawaii, so they were all, like, the whole crew and all their families were like locked in a hotel.
Cool.
For a weekend.
Fun.
And so he would put on plays and stories for all the kids so that they could, like, stay, positive and happy during these dark times. That's what Ant-Man and the Wasp is. It's keeping the kids. If you're on a lifeboat, one person's got a row and the other person has to make sure the kids don't freak out.
Yeah.
That's what Ant-Man is.
I'm excited for it. Mm-hmm. So the other big news is we finally got a name for the DC streaming service.
Weird. It was very subtly announced, and then they just started saying the shows. Like, these are the other shows you're getting. I'm like, okay, cool.
So it's DC Universe, which isn't surprising. And I don't think I really thought about this before, but, like, Disney could release... there's enough Marvel material that they could release a specifically Marvel app. But
I don't know why they wouldn't.
But it's a full Disney, so you get Marvel, Star Wars, whatever. It's like... Not that Warner Brothers has the library breadth of... maybe they do, and it's just not as closely brand associated as the Disney stuff. But it's one of those that, like, we're going to get it, and we're going to watch the shows on it, and honestly, I'm excited for most of the shows on the app. It's just surprising me that they have that much faith in the specifically DC brand to do an app.
I mean, DC's got a shit ton of shows, let's take out the CW shows, which we sometimes talk about. Let's look at, like, just animated properties. Like, for kids, this would be a really smart thing for parents. Oh, I'm going to download this, easy peasy. Like, just do Warner Brothers.
It'd be a good way to watch Justice League Action if that's going to be on there.
Exactly. Like, like that could just be where they don't go to Cartoon Network's streaming service. They just go to DC Universe and just follow the CW model. Like, you can have a paid version of it, but have the free version too. Makes everyone happy.
The CW's version is so easy.
It's so easy, and it's really high quality, and you can get closed captioning. It's perfect.
I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you all about this pure filtered drinking water. It starts in a cloud, and it comes down in the mountain. Did you get that ad? Like every commercial.
Oh, it goes and then a wiggle, and then it comes right here.
So not only did we get that, we got title cards for shows that we know about: Titans, Harley Quinn, and Young Justice Outsiders. But they also announced a new show. Mm-hmm. I was thrown to you.
Harley Quinn.
No, we already knew about that.
Yeah. They're gonna Flash.
guys, don't worry. What you've been waiting for? Finally, a Flash TV show.
Thank God. And live action. What? Yes, you better believe it. Swamp Thing from none other than Insidious and what was the other property? Insidious and Conjuring
and
creations.
Saw.
And Saw.
Yeah.
James Wan.
Also, everybody. Was it Death Sentence? Was that his?
That's a lesser known one.
He had his with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, he did that.
Yeah.
That weird.
It's actually pretty good for what it is. It's pretty good.
I think that's fair to call that a B movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And John Goodman's in it, but not in a big role. But John Goodman is like Samuel Jackson. They do just about
everything, but they're always pretty good to great in all of it.
Well, they're good to great. Yeah. And so
not necessarily the movie, but them in it.
But yeah, no, he's been developing a Swamp Thing live action.
Well, I talked to you a little bit about the. Jeez, I talked with you a little bit about this before. There was a live action Swamp Thing show that I believe was on USA, and it ran for at least 50 episodes. And I think it was Dirk DeRock was the guy that was in the costume, and he was in it. I got a picture of the costume. I'm going to bring it up in a second. He was in this huge latex costume, like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for 50 episodes.
Man, they hated him.
Yeah,
they really didn't like him at all, huh? There it is. There he is. It's not the worst. It's not
given the era and probably the budget of the show.
But just knowing what he went through for it is not worth it. I do like the way
probably not.
I do like the way he Swamp Thing's nose always looks, but but practical and most like cosplay I ever see, it's just like for some reason seeing it live action, I'm like, it looks so stupid.
You know what'd be cool is if they do. I wish they did this more. If the costume was mostly practical, like maybe practical except the face
and maybe wings.
If they do that,
the wings are. I love
cool.
The wings.
I
need it.
That's fair.
Why does he fly? Shut up about it. All right.
You know what I would love to see if they really.
He weighs
go
like
for this.
900 pounds, but it's like normal sized wings.
Yeah.
Like perfect. Fine.
I'm excited for this. Mostly because I really enjoy Swamp Thing and I like that show. There's an animated series too. Weirdly, they tried really hard to make Swamp Thing a thing. It was in that era with Ninja Turtles. Like, let's make gross things a thing. So like, Toxic Avenger got an animated series, and that thing does not. That thing is so adult. Those movies are so adult oriented.
The guy who played Toxic Avenger recently was found dead, passed away, which is a bummer.
That is a bummer.
Yeah, just because it is kind of comic book related.
Yeah.
Just rest in peace. That's sad for the families. But yeah, I get what you mean. It was a weird era of the Toxic Avenger is a really, really gross.
It's just super art like.
Is it?
Like, you talk about B movie. That's like a Z movie.
Yeah.
But with like titties and gore and just the whole shebang. And like, hey, let's make that a thing for kids. So yeah, there's this animated Swamp thing. Anyway, I'm excited for it. Things I'd like to see. Let's bring on Matt Ryan's Constantine.
It would be really smart. It'd be super duper smart because that's where he's introduced, right?
Yeah. Constantine was introduced in Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing.
What a weird. How? How is he? I mean, I should just read it because everyone has a copy of it.
Yeah.
Any comic book fan that's been around for like 20 years has a copy of it somewhere.
And then it would be cool if they touched on Animal Man and the Red. That's a more recent addition to the Swamp Thing.
Oh no, they
connecting those two.
The red and the gray and there's a bunch of the blue and the whatever. You know, you get it. You know how
that was the Charles Soule run, which was after Scott Snyder's run, is really good.
He's a very good writer.
Good.
He's really
He's a
good.
Marvel exclusive. I wish he had more. I liked his DC stories.
When did he? Is that after is that like Brightest Days shit when they like introduced?
No, that was after New 52. Scott Snyder wrote it for a minute, and then Charles Soule jumped in. And it was like literally right before. I think he did like a couple volumes before he got snapped up by Marvel, and now he's working on Daredevil. That's the only one I know about.
And the whole Wolverine's not dead anymore. They have like
he
4.
Killed Wolverine.
He did, and then they had 4 like side comics about like all these characters looking for Wolverine somewhere. Yep. He's writing the Daredevil one, and I read that, and I'm like, cool. So I'm not picking up any of the other ones because it's only going to be people spinning their wheels for a total of 16 issues, and then the main issue of the Hunt for Wolverine is going to finish its 4-issue run, and that's when you figure it out.
Marvel needs to calm down, dude.
They do. That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm going to read the Infinity Countdown stuff because that's like a big event. Who cares? Wolverine's come back. Whatever. He's
also,
be there.
Did we feel his absence? There was Old Man Logan, and then there was Laura Kinney as Wolverine. And then, was anybody like?
And Ultimate Wolverine's over there. James, how are you doing?
Was anybody feeling like, oh, it's like, guys, Batman's dead, but don't worry, the Dark Knight Returns Batman's here. It's like, well, then basically Batman's here.
Yeah, he's angrier.
But like
that's exactly who it is. Yeah. That's exactly. Who
I don't really feel like he's gone. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm excited to see what other programming they come up with. Mainly the only thing I care about right now. Shut up. No. If you guys don't remember what that is, it's like, do you want to know the adventures of Lois Lane and Lex Luthor prior to Clark Kent being in Metropolis? So you mean months? Yeah. Maybe 2 years.
Nope. I would rather see them on Supergirl.
Yep.
I'd rather see those characters show up on Supergirl.
Just stop it. Just knock it off. You got Krypton. That's one prequel.
And that series is able to use Doomsday. They've referenced the Green Lantern. So at least, even though I stopped watching it, they're able to like touch on shit.
How dare you? Some of us have dignity and grace.
And stop watching after episode 2?
I will watch.
1. You didn't watch.
No. I watched all of a different space-oriented.
Yes.
Superhero property that had.
We all begged you to stop.
I didn't hear those.
That hurt. You know what?
It hurt me more than it hurt.
It did hurt me more than it hurt. It hurt you more than it hurt me. Also, but it hurts me to think that, like, when they're announcing the Eternals, it's like, well, if you're gonna do it, you should have just done the Inhumans.
Why didn't you do the Inhumans? Like, don't do the Terra Genesis where like 50,000 other Inhumans are running around. Just do the Royal Family.
Yeah, and it's like, I thought you jettisoned the TV because you didn't want to do it, but now you're doing the Eternals, so I'm like, well, what are you doing?
Just forget the TV show happened and be like, oh no, there was this weird copycat. We had a dream. And it was this really horrible fever dream, and we all looked awful.
Yeah.
Whew, don't worry, they won't be mentioned again, and then they will never be on any streaming app.
Nope.
Never.
But we could just pretend it never happened.
Cool. I'm fine with that.
So, do you want to jump to...
Also, Titans and Young Justice is what I meant to say, is what I'm most excited.
Same. I'm actually, honestly, even though we don't know a lot about Swamp Thing, so that's kind of interesting. I'm actually most excited about Young Justice.
Yeah, because it's the same... It's Greg Weisman? Yeah. Who was the showrunner?
It was Greg Weisman, and then he's the same guy that's been working on all the animated movies. He's the other showrunner on that show, and I can't remember his name
Sam
right now.
Something?
I don't believe so.
Not the director, but the guy who produces it, because there's a director named Sam who directed most all of the like animated DC movies.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you get that gig, but I think that's not the worst gig to be in. But yeah, I'm excited. And we'll get plenty of animated DC movies coming to those apps, which will be really cool. Hey, if they had all like 20, 30... animated movies on there, I go check them out. Like that Suicide Squad that just came out recently had a cool Reverse Flash story in it. Did you read about it? Here's just a quick synopsis of that side plot, because this is not what the movie's about, really. Is that Flashpoint movie that happened. Remember how Reverse Flash was killed? He wasn't stabbed, he was shot in the head.
Yeah.
And it was that...
super violent.
Before his brain, like, flickered out, he absorbed as much of the Speed Force into his own body so that it stopped himself from dying. So he's kind of like, he can't remember a lot of things, and he's got like a hole in his head. But he is one of the antagonists in that movie, and he talks about Flashpoint. He was like, yeah, a different Batman shot me in the head, but I was able to, basically, I'm running out of time, but I'm not dead yet. But he's got a gigantic hole in his head.
Jeez.
Which sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does sound awesome. I am going to say, I think those animated movies should dial back on the R-rated animated movies.
Why?
Well, if you've watched them, it's like, this didn't need to be
Remember Justice League Dark? That was really cool.
It also didn't need to be R. Why? It was like a hair's breadth away from PG-13.
Yes, that's true. But I think they said one F word. They
Good.
One F.
That's what I need.
Speaking of Fs, let's move into... Well, no, this wasn't an F. This was a pretty good week for TV. Or was it? Let's get going with the first show that we always like to talk about. Is Supergirl. Ms. We'll do a Ms. Is that fair?
Yes.
Cool. All right. I got my color ready to go. I have my color.
I'm sorry, I was having to do math in my head. You know that basically stops all motor functions for me.
But yes, let's talk about Supergirl. Of Two Minds is the name of this episode. And it's about the third Worldkiller.
Cool. Oh, no. Man.
What are they?
If you were wondering, if anybody out there was wondering if they were actually going to get Mon-El and Supergirl back together, those wheels are definitely... Those gears are in motion. They're making it happen. Saturn Girl's not acting great this episode.
No, she wants to do everything that every character wants to do, but we have to finally kill them. Why? We don't do that. Why? I don't know. We're not.
Listen, hold on. Sam, I gotta be honest. We've had this conversation for the past few weeks for mysterious reasons because of another show that we're going back and rewatching. If you knew, crazy plague lady evolves into a super plague that starts wiping out all life in, it sounds like, the universe. And then you're like, no, but she's a person. And then you run into her and she's like, ha ha ha, I want to kill everybody. Do you feel bad about offing that person?
Here, I'm going to respond with this from Swami85 on Reddit. Supergirl has a no-kill rule, you say? Was that before or after she incinerated a bunch of white Martians earlier this season? Incinerated.
Yeah, and then she nuked Red Tornado.
But that was like a...
But remember, they went out of their way like, he's achieved consciousness. Cool. Murder him.
I didn't because I hated the way he looked. I hated it. It was... They didn't... That show had a lot of budget in the first season. You couldn't just do a CG one. The CG one looked fine in Earth X.
There, I don't know that... I'm not on the... I don't know if the CG looks better. It just looks CG.
And they just shot it in the dark.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
just shot it in the dark. Make all the scenes when they test out Red Tornado in the dark.
In the dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she definitely kills people.
Oh, speaking of things looking
better...
better...
sorry. Humans. She doesn't kill humans. But she'll kill...
human at this point?
Or human-looking things.
Cool.
There you go.
Oh, I mean...
I don't know what the hell a Worldkiller is. It's like they are human and they are.
Yeah, they start talking about rain like it's another thing in your brain, and then you switch in an alternate dimension, and you're like,
I like
what?
those scenes when Rain and her are talking, mainly because that actress is really good.
Yes.
But then it's like Purity. What does she do? She screams. I was like, wait, are we lining up with the horsemen right now? Or the horsewomen?
Whoa, but there's 4 horsemen.
Yeah.
So we're missing one.
Or is that the twist for season 4?
It'd be cool if there was a fourth one and it was Doomsday.
Mm-hmm. We could.
I'm not at this point. I don't think it's gonna
happen.
They would have said that.
That would have been interesting. But overall, it was just like there was a good scene in here with Wynn and James where he was like, I'm finally at peace. Like I can actually do the things I want to do.
Yeah, a lot of crying this episode.
And he was like, I could be the next Steve Jobs. It's like, you would have done it.
Yeah.
You were an IT guy at a newspaper.
Yeah, you would have. This is the best you can do, man.
Yeah. You're not doing nothing.
No.
You're at the DEO. You're at a very high-tech, questionable government agency.
Government-ish agency.
And you're fine. You've invented flying monkey robots or anti-kryptonite, whatever he does. But it was a good scene. And then also Swanman commented, also, can we agree that Jimmy has no purpose on this show anymore?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean he's not beautiful.
He is beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, the brainy and speaking of beautiful, and going back to talking about Red Tornado and things not looking the way people want, Brainy gets a oh hey, I'm just disguised as a human.
Yeah.
And I will say, even though it didn't always look the best, but the concept behind his appearance I liked.
Sure.
I did find this significantly less distracting.
Why was he blue?
Because Brainiac's blue.
Brainiac's green.
Greenish. You remember the animated series? He was like a blue-green teal. He was teal.
Oh, in that. I just mean just the comic books. The comic books is green.
Usually, yes.
Yes. Even Brainiac 5 is usually...
Or purple is often associated with the character, too. Like, his skin color isn't purple, but, like, that's a color associated with the character.
That was what was confusing.
But significantly less distracting just having that actor. And also, I really like that actor's Brainy.
Yeah.
He's a great presence. Doesn't know what social media is.
Benny. Yeah, I don't know how that possibly could have happened with you being here for months. But, like, what you're seeing... And I like the, like, oh, it's a fad. We get over it. I'm like, hey, that would be kind of cool. Hey, that'd be cool. That. Yeah, that'd be fun. We'd be out of a job, but shh. But overall, it was a fine episode. And I don't really know, like, what Hail Mary they're going to come up with where it's, like... to take out these world killers, because again I don't really know what they are. Are they magic? Are they? What are they?
They're alien magic.
I like the interaction between not Lucy Lane, Lena Luthor.
Yes.
A lot of L alliterations. And between her and Sam.
Yeah.
And I like the threat of Ruby possibly being killed. And I think they set up that Ruby was probably going to go on with Alex.
Yeah.
That was a couple episodes you got that. I'm going to be bummed if Sam dies, because I really like that actress, but that's fine if she's only here for a season.
She's also the big bad, so that doesn't mean...
But kind of not.
Yeah.
But
I also kind of liked... Honestly, I actually thought they did a pretty good job with the fake-out of who the other Worldkiller was, because I definitely thought it was Redhead, and then and I thought they were setting up a new love interest with the person that ended up being Pestilence, and so I thought that was a nice little reversal.
They got you. They got you good.
But again, I don't know. I'm getting a little burnt out on the... I'm kind of... When you cut to Arrow, and he's just kind of like, what's your rule? I mean, I shoot arrows at them if they make it good for them. Like, you kind of appreciate, like, cool, man. I mean, whatever. You do you.
We don't need to talk about, we don't kill. And it's like, just try not to.
Yeah.
You can just say, we really try not to.
We're going to really try and not kill this person that's going to wipe out all humanity in 1,000 years.
I know you justify in your brain that, like, if we have a strict no-kill rule, like, what we're doing is not illegal. Like, but it is.
But again, Supergirl works for the government, so...
She's fine.
She doesn't need to worry about it. You know,
the government kills people.
You know who needs to worry about it? Green Arrow.
And Flash.
Yeah, and Flash.
Flash is like a nuke running around sometimes.
Yeah, so he needs to let everybody know, like, hey, guys, I'm cool. Don't worry about me.
Well, if I were to rate this episode out of 10, classic, I'd give it a 7, 6.9, something like that. It was fine. It was
maybe a 7.5.
It didn't
middle guard.
There was a good moment with Wynn and James. James has zero purpose on this show anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of dumb spinning your wheels thing with like Imra being like, we murder now or we don't. Who cares? I don't.
Yeah.
I super don't care if they're like, oh, we have the cure, but it's not this cure. Why? I like him. She's very pretty. And Brainy is great. And Mon-El, I don't know if I like the new cape trick thing. I don't get it. I don't get what it is. I don't get, like, even when they say it's smart cloth, it's like, so the computer in it, okay, now I'm overthinking maybe the wrong thing. But it's like, what did it add? What did this add?
Here's the thing.
Is that how we kill the Worldkiller? We fucking suffocate him with a fucking
I hope so.
cloak of levitation and just grabs her head and just snaps it?
Wouldn't that be great?
I don't know. Like, I don't care about it. I don't think it matters at all.
So you give it like a 7 or 6.9. I give it a 7.5.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm with you on the cape tricks. I don't know what it
gives
is.
a shit. It's
I like the idea behind it. It just never looks good.
But like, why do it? Like, why?
I agree.
Yeah, like, why wasn't this like episode 1? It was like, oh, Wynn made the costume. By the way, this isn't as far as I remember, none of what she wears is Kryptonian.
Yeah.
Wynn made it. Wynn made all of it. Cool. All right, let's talk about the Flash. Because the Thinker's on afoot, and he's making innocent people kill themselves. Why? Because he's smarter than you, dipshit, and he can. And the mechanic, we learn about her more, and that the Thinker in the beginning of the season was like, when we got the first flashback about him, like, getting the thinking cap and getting his powers, what I was led to believe is that he was a pretty normal guy that just wanted to be smarter.
Yes.
And then he got dark matter in the brain. Classic. It happens. It happened to an uncle of mine when he was doing construction. Yeah. It happens. And it changes you. And then he became
Listen, when you got dark matter in the brain, it changes you.
It's an accident. Sometimes you can't control it, and it changes who you are. We get it. But really, he was a weird, crazy, extremist terrorist from the jump, and she was kind of too.
Yeah, so, hold on. His plan is to remove all technology?
No. To make people dumb enough to not use the technology.
Really?
That's what it was. It was to turn everyone into what Harry's turning into. Which his whole thing is a conflict that is happening in the show. Remember Cecile got powers and how that somehow that really paid off in a weird way in this episode?
Yeah, this was a good way to get Cecile to be able to do something. I actually really like their dynamics, so that worked for me, even though it I don't know, it felt like a little out of nowhere. Like, but I'm fine with it. I'm a little weird. I feel like I'm in this weird spot where like villains get like suddenly new motivation. Like for the most part, enjoyed Infinity War. I am not convinced the Thanos we see in that movie is the same Thanos we've been seeing for 5 other movies. Like,
I agree with that.
He's way more proactive all of a sudden. It's like this guy would have done this Avengers 1. And so this one was like, I had a very different. I'm like you. I had a very different impression of who the Thinker was. Until this, and it was like, oh wait, he was, because at first it was like, oh maybe you can save him, and and there's like this weird abusive streak now because he wants what he wants. Yeah. It's like, really, he was manipulative and a piece of shit prior to this. Yeah. Because their first meeting, he's kind of a jackass immediately. Yeah, he it basically tells her to stop being a little baby about how the world works, and he's like, well, I'm an optimist, but then secretly it's like in my head I'm like, but I do want everyone to be dead. And you're like, huh. And then she gets a traumatic experience that puts her back on board. One thing I do like about this is it does dive into that, like, you know, again, when you're in toxic relationships, sometimes people get in toxic relationships because they're a little bit toxic themselves. And it also, I don't know if comic booky note, it sets up her in the chair leaving it's like, oh shit, do we have 2 big bads? Like, that's kind of cool.
We also have Amunet.
Amunet's who's supposed to come back next episode to help them try and stop things.
Very cool.
And Katie Sackhoff's having so much fun.
That Chris Fellows on Reddit writes, good episode, especially like the scene with Harry and DA Cecile Horton, which I do like that he calls her that. It's cute. Also really would have wished that the girl who we think is Dawn Allen would have said every second is a gift. That is a fun line from the comics, which is always a good way the Flash should look at his life that way.
What line is that from? I'm sorry.
It's from DC Rebirth. It's Wally says it a lot.
Got it,
he has a watch from Barry that says every second is a gift, and that's what he teaches them, that especially as a Flash, every second is a gift.
Yeah, but we did Crawley on this show.
When he's having way more fun on his other show, though.
Yes.
But we can talk about the tease at the end. Like, we're an episode or 2 away from actually maybe confronting who this person is, or that's season 4. 5.
We're in season 4.
Where's my life gone? What is happening?
You have a complete mental breakdown right here.
What the fuck's happening? What the fuck's happening?
What's my life been?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when she speeds away, it's a mix of purple and yellow lightning, right? So that's Iris and Barry, right? So we know who this kid is.
Yeah.
It's just they're not twins now. It's
either
the one.
It's one, but she had the lightning of Iris and Barry.
That's what I just said.
Well, I was reading a comment.
Okay, listen, that's fair.
I wasn't listening. You caught me. Yeah, but is it the baby that's in Cecile?
I don't think so.
Well, who's that?
Just a baby. No, you don't buy it?
No, there's never just babies.
There's no just babies. I did like when they tried to fight Thinker. I think it was at the shipyard. And he's able to take them all out.
Oh, yeah,
and stuff.
that happened.
Like the amount of powers he has. It's like, yeah, this guy's. When you talk about the abilities of the bus metas, they all seem super silly. And then you see him work in unison, you're like, oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, he had to build them up. He had to pick very specific. Wait, we need a guy who's really into miniatures, and he's got to be on the bus with his miniatures, or his dwarf star piece of shit, whatever. But I did want to point out, Demi C in the comments wrote, did anyone get the impression that DeVoe was behind the attack? And I think that's referencing the flashback, and I don't think he was.
I don't think so. I don't think he.
But he somehow got to like Kenya in like 5 hours or something. So
hey, listen, man. In this universe, remember when, like I think it was season 3, like Arrow would just take like a 30-minute flight to Ra's al Ghul's hideout, like wherever the hell that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm gonna go, and then late that evening he's there. It's like, well, how close is that in Canada? Like what?
Speaking of traveling fast, Gypsy and Cisco no more. Which is a bummer, because Gypsy's great, and that means we probably are only going to get her either one more time in like a random role, or we're never going to see her again, which would really, really bum me out.
She'll probably pop up occasionally. You don't think there's any chance that they'll be like, never mind, we want to be together?
Well, no, I think this is a very good reason for not being together. Is that, like, yeah, I don't want to date somebody that's literally not on the same planet as me.
Yeah.
And it's even more than that. It's more than that they can't see each other. But you did, during that scene, I think you may have missed it, but there was a tease of Earth 19 Flash, because he was in the precinct.
Which we saw briefly before last one.
Because Gypsy got something for him.
Yeah. That's always cool.
And he has like the goggles. It's more like an aviator look with a big scarf, and he has purplish lavender lightning, which is cool.
Cool. So maybe he's the dad of the...
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, it'd be cool to... maybe he's just someone we just never see.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Also, we didn't see... It was definitely not the same actor. It was someone walking from behind.
Hold on. How long do you think we get until we have like a legion of Flashes versus somebody? Season 5, season 6?
Next season.
Okay. I'm into it.
The only negative from... Like, the one negative or positive for Arrow having the flashbacks and building up for like the 5-year thing. Season 5 was really special.
Yeah. Because it had something to wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, Flash doesn't.
Nope.
The only thing they have to wrap up by is season 10. That's the tease from the newspaper in the very first episode. Is that's where they catch up to when the Flash disappears. So that could be when. But also, I did want to point out that we eventually need to figure out why Reverse Flash hates Barry.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, I don't know when we're going to get to that, though.
Neither do I.
Nope. Really confusing.
Because he really shouldn't exist.
Oop.
He really shouldn't.
He's died like 9,000 times.
What's your rating for this guy?
How did Harry come back from Earth X? Didn't he die again in Legends of Tomorrow?
Wait, hold on.
I'm talking about Reverse Flash. How did Harry...
I'm telling... That's what I'm saying, dude.
Sorry, I was just asking if they explained that part.
No. I thought... No, seriously. I thought we were going to get with this whole brain thing with Harry messing with the thing. I thought this was going to explain how Reverse Flash came back into existence and looks like Harry. Like, I thought they were playing, like, the long game. Like, I know this seems super confusing now, but wait till episode 25. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It doesn't matter. What would you rate this episode?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not a stellar one, but it was still had some enjoyable moments. I'm just ready to wrap this up, which sucks that I feel that way. But I do want to talk about Arrow because I think this is my favorite episode of the season, possibly, or it's up there. There's been some very good episodes this season. This one definitely needs some recognition. It's the trial of Oliver Queen, even though there was an episode titled that already where that happened in like season 2. And then probably again with Roy when he left the show.
Also, we did this with Barry just this season.
But this was done way better.
It was
a lot better.
The stakes seemed higher. Also, it deals more. It dealt more with the history of the show. I think episodes like this, because I'm with you, I actually think this might be my favorite episode of the season. Although the episode where Diggle and Ollie confront each other was actually pretty solid too.
Mm-hmm. And the one with Prometheus when he's kind of hallucinating.
Yes.
So there's been a couple really good episodes.
Of course, that was the one because Prometheus was there, and so immediately everything got elevated.
It took to the later half of the season for all these episodes. Sorry, I tried to hide that, but it just came out. That was Del Taco.
It was just coming. Hey, man, you can't stop Del Taco.
It's fighting me.
But it deals with the one trick this show has it doesn't have any superpowers, it doesn't have metas, it doesn't have aliens, it doesn't have time travel.
It has metas and it has alternate universes.
It does, but not to the same, like not in the same way as the other shows do to rely on. But what it does have is its history. It's been going a lot longer than any of these other shows, so it can pull off stuff like. A lot of this episode dealt with the history of the characters, dealt with Oliver's history of the city, dealt with some characters we haven't seen since last season or season 4. Some characters we haven't seen since season 1.
Yeah, for a long period of time with that dialogue. Because Tommy did pop up randomly in like season 3 when it was in that flashback in like Hong Kong. There was also he popped up. Didn't he pop up earlier this? No, he was at Earth X, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
What was he doing in Earth X?
He was Prometheus.
Oh, he was Prometheus. That was the fun tweet.
I love this. I knew from the beginning I assumed from the beginning that the person they were pulling out was human target. Chase. I can't remember his first name.
Yep, don't remember.
Which is also, I know that character had
Cameron Chase.
I know that character had a Fox show, but this is barring that, this is such a deep cut of a character.
He's great. He's such a cool character.
Again, it's something that can just. When they need it, it's like we just pull him out. Whenever Will Travel, whatever's actor's name is.
W-I-L.
Yeah.
Whittle.
Whenever he's available and they need him, they're just able to pull him out of whatever. By the way, Diggle's been holding back for 6 seasons. That
might be the best opening the show's ever had.
Yeah, when he's parachuting in and he's grenade launching people and shooting people, and it's like, where has this skill set been?
Mm-hmm. That was a pretty dope intro. It was cool to see the woman from S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, Catherine Dent.
Yeah, she was really good.
Great, and she was good in this role as it sounds like a super prosecutor.
Yeah, and I did like that the second twist with the human target with the
judge.
The judge, because the judge was clearly in Diaz's pocket.
I was hoping when they pull him in, he's like, no, I just did this for my wife and kids. Shoot. And it's like, why was he in the... They probably had something on him. Like, that might have not... You said that guy to his death, it might not have been completely his fault.
But Oliver didn't go to jail.
Yay!
But I did like... Stephen Amell acted the shit out of the scene where Tommy took the stand.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And at first I was like, who's this generic-looking white dude? I was like, oh, he's our generic-looking white dude, not Stephen Amell.
Yeah.
The other one.
Seriously, though, if you huddled most of the leads on these shows together, you'd be able to, like, I don't...
Based on body shape, you'd be able to kind of distinguish a couple.
That's basically
Grant Gustin
it.
is like, he's a skinnier guy.
Yeah.
But basically, I get your point.
It'd be a sea of pale.
It was a very great... I loved the scene with... Because let's admit, we both didn't watch last week's episode of Arrow, so we don't know.
No.
And we didn't need to. But the part that was slightly confusing to me, which I'm guessing we missed a point of this, is that Dinah is now, like, in cahoots. Like, people are accusing her of being in cahoots with the Arrow.
The only one that seems to be dodging that bullet is Curtis.
Yeah, which is whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I did love the scene with Wild Dog and his daughter, with her coming in with Diaz, and you're like, yep, you're fucked. Like you're 100% fucked. Like I would be honest, as soon as that happens, it's like, sorry, Oliver, like,
yeah, you're done.
Basically,
because for one, Oliver didn't Oliver give him a nod, like, man, go for it, man, like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna stop.
And then he apologizes later, and it was a sweet scene.
Yeah.
And also, I really dug Quentin as Mayor. Great, love that. And with Laurel walking in. This is his
last season.
I know, Danny Boy in the comments said that, and that bummed me out because he's really good, but also he deserves a break. Mm-hmm. He's been here as long as Oliver and Felicity and Dale. Just like, let him breathe.
Yeah.
And you kind of told every story you can now. He's just at least he looks like he's having a good time, and that makes me happy. But I did like the scene with Laurel coming in saying, "Yeah, I definitely know. I know who the Arrow is,
or
the Green or the Hood or whatever we want to fucking call this guy." And I like that she chose not to say. Yeah. And even though you've criticized, you're like, don't turn her into a hero. I don't think that's what this is. I think she's just done working with the psychopath.
Honestly, I like that scene where she confronts all of them, and for a second I was like, please just scream off his head. Like, that would be, and then suddenly she becomes the big bad. Like, that would be nuts. And it's like, really cool. Then he pulled out the thing, I was like...
But also, just that little sound that came out, I was like, oh no. While he's not my favorite, he has become more compelling as this season's gone on.
Agreed, but how cool would it have been if his head was screamed off?
Yeah, I mean, we did get what that looks like with Vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a lot of D-listers.
Yeah.
What a lot of weird D-listers.
He has become compelling, but I like that. I like that scene. It was a good... Because of course she could do that. We've basically established... The way he used her in his episode, established her as like a nuke. A street level version of a nuke. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So... there was a lot to like this episode. The action was good. The courtroom drama stuff, even though it was like super sped up, I was actually handled really well.
Yeah.
I like it when the lawyer was like, yeah, we're going to tell everybody you're going to admit your Green Arrow, and we're going to go dive in on the fact that you've saved the city a bunch of times and you shouldn't get jail time.
He has.
Like, even though he...
I did love that scene too. It was like, be honest with me.
Yeah.
I am. And she's like... For fuck's sake, man! Like, 'cause she didn't say it, but you can just see that actress is great because she always plays like kind of like the catty mom on like I think she's been on Night Zombie too. Like, she does a lot of rounds on these shows.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, oh, just fine. I guess we'll have to run with this. Yeah. Like, I've never defended a superhero before, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'd give this an 8.5. I really dug this episode.
I agree.
And more human target, even though he gave the tease of like maybe like a year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wait till next season. Wink.
Wink. He's an amazing actor, and I really liked him on Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones.
He does get one. The first time he pulls off his mask, it's like, oh, that looked bad.
And the second time it was better.
The second time was better because it was used with cuts instead of like CG or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But good use of that character. Good use of the show's history. That opening was baller. Cool.
Let's see where we go with this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now he's gonna kill Oliver.
Well, that's not been there.
You've had
done
so
that.
many opportunities to do that. He's like, no, we have to take him down, and he was like, well, fuck me. I guess we got to kill him now.
No.
Who knows?
Like this episode.
At least it's interesting now.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. Do you want to go to?
Do you want to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Let's do that.
Cool.
Let's do that. By the way, guys, if you didn't watch Black Lightning and we talked about it a lot, and you're like, oh, I want to watch that, but I don't have time. It's on Netflix now if you want to go check that out. But speaking of, well, whatever, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let's talk about it, because last week paid off. The previous episode, we got a tease that aliens are coming.
Yes.
And they're coming.
They're coming now.
Yeah, they're here.
They're here.
And we got a tease of Infinity War in there. You know, hear what happens in New York?
Which feels like they weren't told what... Which I guess makes sense. Most of the actors weren't told. But it's like that... How... It would have been better if you had ignored it.
Yeah.
Knowing... I guess not... We're not going to spoil that movie. But knowing what you know about that movie, just ignore it. And move on with your own thing. I will say, if this show was trying to get me to not like Fitz, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, because he's my favorite character for seasons, and now he's just an asshole.
Yeah, I think it's partially because he's such a dick to Deke, and I
for
like
no
Deke.
fucking reason. You know, it's
and
weird.
Also, Deke's his grandkid.
Yeah, but he's just ashamed of himself. He's ashamed of his genes, his loins. You know what's weird? Since Deke came to the future, weirdly he's gotten a baby face, and I don't know if it's just maybe I just didn't notice it more. But in the future, he was like
lighting's different,
maybe, and there's more sun. No, the sun's equal. More atmosphere. I can't tell, but like in the first half of the season, he looked like a Han Solo type character, but now he looks like a kid who hasn't moved out of his parents' basement.
I'm wondering if part of that's the performance, because the way he's played the character has changed significantly since
Which
then.
does make sense because he's in an entirely alien environment.
No, I think the characterization makes sense, but I wonder if that affects the way you perceive him. Because he seems younger to me too, and I think that might just be the way he's playing it.
Maybe. Also, speaking of playing it, I like the introduction of 20 new SHIELD agents. They're like, don't worry, there's definitely not just 6 of us standing in this bunker. There's a bunch of us. Why? Where'd you come from? Don't know. Too bad. A bunch of knife people are here, and they're gonna do some killing.
I liked the idea of the knife people more than the appearance of them.
And they're like, he's got like a 3-foot-long claw. I was like, oh.
And it's like, what, a drill that comes out of there?
It was a kitchen knife. It was like a double-sided kitchen knife slid out of his sleeve.
This episode does have one of my favorite jokes on this show when they come in. And who's the girl? She was on Supergirl too, and she portrayed him briefly. She's one of the like lower tier agents.
Holly or something.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about though, short hair.
Yeah.
When she's talking to the other agent, she's like, "That's amazing, and you only got one scar. Why didn't you tell them the story?" Like, I don't think they'd care. It's like, that's that these agents have all had crazy stories, but we're only focused on these guys.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at all of them. Like, yeah, SHIELD might still be running in other places, that was season 2, right? They're like, there's the real SHIELD.
Yeah, that was season 2. Wow, that feels forever ago.
Yep, I'm fine. We didn't stick with that. We just kind of moved on and murdered most of those people, actually.
Yeah, we did. Edward James Olmos?
He died in an awful way.
I don't remember.
He got Terrigen smoke and went all crystals.
Oh, and I guess we're digging up Jin Yang. Nope, that's what... her mom.
That is
Silicon Valley.
It is. I don't remember her name, but Sky's mama, and she's digging...
Sky's digging her up. Daisy's digging her up.
Daisy's digging it. Oh my god, I can't keep track of all those fucking names. At that point in the show, she was Sky.
Yep. You're right.
Yep. But overall, but the big thing in this episode was that Talbot wants to make things right, so he gives himself superpowers. Why did everyone leave that installed? Like,
but also, wasn't there a thing that you had to be specifically conditioned or some shit to have that work?
No, they taught her to be... but I think and that we could lead to him not doing so well in future episodes.
Yeah.
But it was that physically she was ready to do it based on just like not... Oh, wait, maybe she was like... No, yeah, no, you're right.
There's some sort of conditioning or some shit.
And also like genetic, because she got inseminated, so like she was like born to do it.
Yeah. And
like,
it didn't go well for her, and this guy, Talbot, who's basically been thrown into a blender... Fine, but like it works well. I do like the idea that, and I can't imagine this was the plan, because I don't know about you. I've basically been viewing this as if this is the final season.
Yeah,
like, my brain is just, this is it. We set up a villain. We set up the first time. I don't know if you remember the news. The news was like, oh shit, they're getting their first supervillain. It's Graviton. And it was just like, well, that wasn't really that.
It was Goop.
Yeah.
That made the room flip around.
So it's like we set up our main supervillain in season 1, and we don't pay him off till the last season. I don't think that was the plan, but I do kind of like that.
I like it. Also, it was a cool reveal. It was because
he's scary.
It's the scariest power I think they've ever shown.
Yeah.
Besides. No, actually, I think out of all the shows, minus Kilgrave. Like, Kilgrave is terrifying. But, like, Marvel show-wise, he's the scariest because it's so unpredictable.
Yeah. At least power-wise.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And good for... I'm blanking on that actor's name. Who plays Talbot.
Nathan Petrelli is the hero's name.
Adrian Pasdar.
There you go.
Adrian Pasdar. Good for him. I'm glad if you're going for the whole Graviton thing, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better actor. And he's been such a good player on the show. Also, super sad for... If you were already sad for Talbot, get ready to be even more sad. Because he's definitely not going back to his family after this.
Why? He's fine.
But he's getting the full... They've released images. He's getting the full supervillain costume treatment.
From what... I didn't need that. He's fine if he's just like this crazy dude with a hole in his head. Because I think Graviton in the comics is super not mentally okay, which is kind of cool that they're saying up. It's like, no, he's got like he's not schizophrenic.
Yeah.
By definition, he literally just has other people inside of his brain, pulling a legion, if you will. Yeah, he's not gonna do okay. I want to see him take out a ship though. That's gonna be fucking rad. Oh, where did he get that? Oh no!
I just showed Sam the costume. It's fine.
Didn't need it though.
To be fair, it's a bad picture.
It's a bad costume too. Oh, whatever. I don't care. I honestly don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. But he could definitely take out Thanos. Right? Couldn't he?
He'd be there.
What if he could take him out more than Spider-Man could?
Yeah, 100%. More than Spider-Man. 100%.
More than
Probably
all
more than
the
Iron
Guardians. Man. More than Cap. Most of the... Minus Thor and Hulk.
Minus Thor, Hulk, and Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange probably is like the highest up there.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, maybe.
Somebody pointed out something to me about that movie that I can't get out of my brain now.
Don't.
I'll tell you after the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're spending a little bit too long. Like we spent so much time in the bunker at this point.
I did that money.
That was a good bit when he just hits the nuclear. Like the nuclear strike.
Oh, before it goes, that was a really good joke. Like, why didn't you fucking wait? And it was like, I don't know. It sounded like a. Why would they have that?
It sounded like it was timed, maybe. Like I needed to. Like I wasn't gonna get a lot of time to choose. I don't want to choose the wrong one. Like
one of my favorite roles for Patrick Warburton. He's like, doesn't seem like there's any nuclear radiation in the sky. You're good to go.
Yeah.
You should just hit the alien button after that.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely weapons somewhere. Shouldn't there be? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm excited for the next episode. This season's coming to a really interesting conclusion, and I'm excited to see where we end up.
I'm hoping if this is the end, you kind of wrap things back to where I like the characters that I used to like, because some of the group is becoming a little bit unlikable, and I don't.
Yo.
And especially if this is the end, it's like I don't want to not like them. You know what I mean?
You know what? We might get a little bit of, if you know what I mean, in the next episode. Which would be really interesting and confusing for people who haven't watched.
No, I don't think we will.
I think we will.
I think they would have had to have known ahead of time, and I don't think anybody did.
I think they knew the ending of what's going to happen to most people.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Hey, they had, you know what? Because it's not too much spoilers for Avengers Infinity War. They did introduce like 50,000 new S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that definitely weren't there in previous episodes, and now they are there so that these Talon people can kill them.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, don't worry. They'll be fine. No, they're not gonna do so hot.
So, what would you rate this episode?
I give it a 7.9 or 8. The Graviton reveal was really cool. It was super solid. Did you? So I give it like an 8-ish.
What did I give? I gave Supergirl like a 7.5, and you gave Arrow an 8.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in between there.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe that's 8. 8 is in between there. Yeah. I really, really like the first half of the season, and so far the back half is starting to lose me. Maybe because ever since Fitz, Gemma, and Yo-Yo started like, we're immortal. It's like I'm not a fan of what's going on here.
I did want to read from Reddit, Swanman85. Every time I feel like they're about to write Talbot off, they go and make him integral to the plot. Although I am curious to see if he's going to be having Quinn and Dr. Hall in his head like Creel and Ruby. Wishing they gave Deke a bit more to do. So far, he seems somewhat in the way. Agreed.
Well, probably vanish soon, so.
Oh, probably. Okay, let's move on to the next show. I know you didn't get to watch it, but I will do a spoiler-free review of Legion, Chapter 13. They actually did one of the lesson for this episode. Spoilers, there will be a lesson, which in every episode there's been one so far for Season 2. Which was very... The visualizations of the other ones were more interesting than this one, but I like the lesson more than this one, which is, I think, really important for the continuation of the show. And you know how you get a lot of those warnings over the loudspeaker where it's like, caution, if reality seems to shift, speak up. You know, it's like, in this, I'm like, am I experiencing that right now? And it's Lenny-centric, which is very cool.
Yeah, because the last episode ended with them dragging her in, which is a mystery because how did she...
That's... Well, here's what I will say for the episode. Mm-hmm. One of the main questions, and the very first person to interview her is, of course, the main interviewer guy with the scar on his face. I know names are bad here, but one of his main questions is whose body is that?
Mm-hmm.
And that is what you get to figure out in this episode. But also... what's going on with her. And you also get some Patanomy. He gets he has this great monologue about past, present, future, which is very good. And personally my favorite interrogation is between David and Lenny when they talk. Cool. And you do get a lot of because of that, since Lenny, you're like, why is Lenny here? You get to deal with some more Shadow King stuff. Yeah,
because if Lenny's there, we're Shadow King.
And Jermaine and Oliver. And those two get to talk, which is cool because we haven't seen how Shadow King, the actor now that we have, Farouk and Oliver, like talk to each other.
Yeah.
And how they view each other and how like their dynamic specifically works. And it's pretty terrifying.
Great.
I'm
excited for it.
It is definitely more of a horror movie this episode.
Cool.
Yeah, but that's all I'll say. And if I were to rate it, I liked it more than last week's, only because I liked the personal touch of Sid's origins, but I didn't get what the lesson was at the end, so it lost me there.
Yeah.
In this, I was terrified, and Aubrey Plaza does an amazing performance, so I'd give it like a 8.5 to a 9.
Great.
I'd give it somewhere in there.
Awesome.
Let's go with 8.6.
Cool.
Cool. Do you have
I think that's us.
Did you do iZombie?
iZombie's great. iZombie has been really good. The brains she's been eating have not been great the past few episodes. Have not been very engaging, but they deal a little bit more with the girl that is immune to being scratched and becoming a zombie.
That's cool.
Although they have a weird conversation about it, because it takes them till like the end of the episode to really confront the idea that like, hey, this girl's immune, and Liv's like, she needs to go back to her mom. And the reason she was shipped there was they ship people that are sick and dying to New Seattle, which is walled off, so that they can be scratched and keep living. You know what I mean?
That sounds complicated, because where are they going to get brains?
Yeah. So she's like, well, go back to your mom. And the girl's like, no, I'm dying. Why would I bring my mom here that's super dangerous if I'm dying, to see me die? And why would I go through all the trouble of getting back to her just for my mom to see me die? And then Ravi's like, well, we should experiment on her. And she's like, yeah, I want to be experimented on. Like, Liv's like, no, we shouldn't do that. It's like,
it's
the girl's choice. Like, what?
Yeah.
What's
and
the
also,
argument here?
You could fix everything.
Yeah,
with her.
like, it's not. It'd be one thing if the girl's like, no, I don't want that. Then you have a complicated situation. But if the girl's like, yeah, that's her call. You don't get to make that call for her.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was an interesting episode. It dealt with some interesting. There was like a zombie serial killer that already sees zombies as dead. So he doesn't mind killing them. But yeah, this wasn't a standout episode. It was just its standard, typically really solid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely will. There will be a day when I do catch up with iZombie, and it'll be very good. I'm excited to talk more Legion with you next week.
Yes.
And with these shows wrapping up, I'm excited to see where we just end up with everything. You know what I mean? Like, Flash has been letting me... Yeah, how do we change as people by the end of these seasons? But guys, let us know what you think in the comments down below on the Patreon, on the YouTubes, or just on Twitter at Sam Bashor, at DJ Talks Trash. Make sure if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, it's so few tickets left for our live event on May 8th.
Yeah, so act fast, onlystupidanswers.com. There's a banner there for that. And you can check out my comic at chaostheorycomic.com. Please go support it.
Hell yes. I think that's about it. Anymore?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
We got an episode tomorrow, which you should check out. Also, if you're part of our movie live stream tier, which you, the people watching with us are part of that.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing Galaxy Quest, and DJ somehow hasn't seen that goddamn movie, and we can't hype it up too much because sometimes the CGI doesn't age well, so we'll watch past that. But besides that, I'm very excited to see what you think about it.
Yep.
But the biggest thing, chaostheorycomic.com. Make sure you go and contribute to DJ's comic.
And again, $25.
Damn it.
Yeah, $25 and up, you get a special print.
This Sunday, we're going to be doing over at twitch.tv/playnoggin. We're going to be doing a live trivia game show. We're going to be going head-to-head in Injustice. I'm going to win. And we're also going to be playing trivia with you guys if you watch live, which is really cool.
Hell yeah.
But I'm going to win, and that's really fun. That's cool. It's just cool that I'm going to win.
You're going to win. There it is.
Wow, you don't have any competitive nature to you.
Oh, no, I don't. That's fine.
All right, interesting. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Here's quick say thank yous to the chats. Danny Boy, Stephen Walker, Demi C, and Julie Layden. Thank you guys for watching with us. I know there's more of you that ain't making a goddamn peep, but we love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
Bye.